Today, we're going to be talking about questions that you should be asking yourself before you buy a retirement home, which is something that, again, a lot of folks would come and ask us about. They've raised a family, they're going into retirement. It's pretty rare, actually, nowadays that people actually maintain the house they raised a family in. They're going to downsize, or they're going to move to a new area of the country, potentially for grandkids or something like that. And so, Pete, what we're going to talk about is some typical questions, and really some primary questions people need to ask themselves before they make this decision.
So here's one. Do you want to live in a retirement community, or just a regular subdivision, or off somewhere where you're not in a subdivision? Where do you want to live? So living in a retirement community, which I haven't done at this point, it has some pros and it has some cons. Some of you may live in a retirement community already. Some of you may be looking into that. And if so, you've got to ask yourself what kind of activities and amenities are important to you, because all these retirement communities have various things. Some of them have tennis, pickleball, pool, activity center. There's all kinds of different things. So you want to find a location, you want to find the activities or the amenities that really mean the most to you, if that indeed is what you want or where you want to live.
Yeah, and Pete, this is something that's pretty prevalent with people, that when they go into these retirement communities, they're looking for quality of life, especially like activities like, talk about pickleball. Like pickleball has become like almost like this cult following. Like seriously, I would say it's probably not as popular as golf. Golf is looked at as a retirement activity, but it's pretty close. I mean, there's like national pickleball tournaments and things. And so understanding the activities that you're going to be involved in, whatever you may be pulled to, if you are considering a retirement community, is something you want to look for. The other thing that you want to consider is, do you look at an apartment or a townhome? I actually have a new client that sold their house and moved into an apartment, and which may seem like, well, why would I want to live in an apartment in retirement? Well, for his situation, he travels all over the world. He literally had lost his spouse, unfortunately, and he didn't want a lawn to mow. He wanted to limit his utility bills and things of that nature, and he just pretty much wanted to be able to come home when he came into town and unpack, wash his clothes, sleep, and head back out. And so an apartment or something like that, or a townhome, may seem like, well, why would I want to do that? Well, there are situations where that absolutely is the appropriate thing for someone in retirement. And then another question that you want to really ask yourselves is, how much square footage do you really need? And you and I were talking about this recently. You're an empty nester, and how much of your house do you actually still use? It's less than what you might think.
Yeah, so Southern Living claims that 1,500 square feet is ideal for retirees. And so 1,500 square feet, there's enough room for both of you to, have a little bit of wiggle room around the house, but also it's not so big that you are overpaying for something that you're really not using. So you've got to decide for yourself, but that's what Southern Living says, 1,500 square feet. So that's actually not bad. And then here's another question to ask, if this is something that's on your mind, is, what is your overall budget? And when you think about that budget, don't forget to include property taxes, if there are some, if you're living in a home that you own, a detached home or whatever, homeowners insurance, and then HOA and some of the fees that go along with where you live. So think about what you want your budget to live on, or to be, so that you still have lots of money left over to live and enjoy your retirement life.
Yeah, and I'd say the HOA fees, depending on where you go, can be a lot more than people think. For example, if you're going to move into a golf community, I've seen golf communities where the monthly HOA fees can be upwards of $700-800 because you're paying for the right to be able to play golf. There's typically pools. If you're down on one of the coastal areas, so if you were working, you raised a family in Tennessee, and let's say you wanted to always live on the beach, and you go into a condo association, there's going to be extra HOA fees, and you just want to account for that in your budget. One of the other things that I think is really important for people that are retired is, how close do you want to be to things that are important to you? So for example, your church community, or a hospital, grocery store, or public transportation. In particular, if you're in a city and you don't necessarily want to drive your car all over the place. For me, when I retire, I don't want to have to drive 30 minutes to get to a grocery store if you need a gallon of milk or a loaf of bread or whatever. So those are going to be really important things to me. And then one of the things, Pete, that I think are really important is for you to ask, what are the things in your home, whether you keep your current home or you move to another home, they're going to be most important to you.
Yeah, what are those features that you really enjoy the most? And I know for Jenny and I in our home, we love our sun porch, and that's really where we live. That's really where we spend all of our time when we're at home. And we just love that. Lots of windows, you can, very light and everything, and it almost feels like you're outside, but you're not. And so you got to think about what is important to you and what you're going to be spending your time on. And then one more question to ask, and I get this a lot from clients and that kind of thing, is how long will you be able to use stairs? And if you're looking for something now, should you consider, the fact that if you plan to live there for the rest of your life, that stairs could become a factor, and should you find something that has no stairs? So you can see that, again, there's a lot of things to consider, and we hope this has been helpful today. Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to get all the latest shows, and you can also go to retirementtalk.com for more information about us and about some of the things that we talk about.